Welcome back to the Really Merry episode. And my guest today is Rich Costante from Responsive Insurance. Hello, Rich.
Hello, Mary. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, we love it when you come on because you always have a lot of knowledge that you want to share with all of our viewers. So first things first, you know, it's been on the news everywhere how horrific this storm was. And we're calling it a 100-year storm. Ian, if we need to mention his name. Tell us about what happened in that storm.
Yeah, so Hurricane Ian was the perfect storm. I mean, it had water, it had wind, it had devastation. And what really made it different than storms that we saw before, it was a lot like Charlie, the way it came in, but the size of it was massive. It was Katrina size, but with Charlie's intensity. When it came in, it came right up the Gulf, and it brought all that water with us. Yeah. As you know, the last storm we had, Irma, it came in and hit further south, so all that water got sucked up by the mangroves. The water had nowhere to go but up, you know, into the streets and into the homes, and it was a horrible event that no one could have anticipated. No one could have anticipated it.
And you know, the areas that got hit the hardest were Fort Myers, Sanibel, Captiva, where it actually hit, and Inglewood, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So Lee County got hit really hard. Yeah. You know, they had wind damage, but a lot of the damage happened from rising groundwater, which is flood. The storm surge did devastation. It washed away buildings. They still don't know where certain buildings and homes are on Fort Myers Beach. Yeah. And, you know, the wind took out the power poles and electricity and all that, but it was the flood that really did the devastation, and just the sand and the muck getting in places it shouldn't get. It's horrible. Yeah, that muck, demucking a house. We knew a lot about that. You know, when you talk about that from a standpoint, with Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel and Inglewood's not in Lee County, but, you know, with all due respect to everyone that was devastated by it, my heart goes out. It was about 10% of the county. So either destroyed or, you know, damaged was around 48,500 was the number that I saw. Mm-hmm. And there's roughly 460,000 residents in Lee County. So when you see this, please don't think that it's the entire area, because it is still running. People are still buying and selling homes. But the devastation, and as we talk about insurance, it's very important to understand what's happening. Now, with that said, you know, as you said, it was this crazy storm. You know, what happened with some of those buildings? So, you know, the Florida building code, the Miami-Dade building code that Florida, at least Lee County, Charlotte County, and Collier County have adopted, along with obviously Miami-Dade where it started, the building code is amazing. The way you have to, you know, how the home is structured, how the roof is attached, the elevation of the home, it really plays a big factor. A lot of people look at the codes and they don't think much of them, but when you look at the 1960s, 70s, and 80s home on Fort Myers Beach versus the ones built, you know, in the last 5 years, those 60s, 70s, and 80s homes are gone. Right. The ones built in the, you know, 2015, 16, 17, 18 are still there. Yeah. Now, granted, there may be damage. Water may have got in, but they're at least still there. Yeah. There's something that that the homeowners can go back to, that they can rebuild and they can cherish, where the older homes just vanish. Right. So the building code, the year of construction really makes a big difference. You know, you brought up something that I was thinking about just now. FEMA put in an improvement law that you can only improve by roughly half the cost of the structure. So if the structure costs $100,000, you can only put $50,000 in over a 5-year term for certain things, you know, flooring, cabinets, et cetera, et cetera. So when you go back to put together some of these houses, that may or may not sense, but maybe we need to mow them over and build them up higher to the new codes. So there's some things that you want to think about when you're buying an older home and talking with, you know, an agent that's experienced, that understands and can guide you through that, both from a buying and selling and an insurance agent. Now, as I move through this, you know, I think the biggest thing we saw, because we're still selling and closing homes, is not everybody's writing insurance in the state of Florida. Yeah, so insurance has kind of been crazy this year. and that was before Ian.
Yeah.
We lost 6 or 7 different carriers in the state due to financial reasons. They went insolvent, bankrupt, and they pulled out. 3 other companies, big ones, Progressive, Bankers, and there was a third one that I won't mention, have pulled out. They've canceled policies and pulled out.
Yeah.
So that was all before Ian. The companies that are still here, that were still around, have been, reaffirmed financially. So they're in good standing.
Yeah.
And then Ian hit. And when Ian hit, companies go on, the lockdown. They don't allow binding. They go on what's called binding restrictions.
Yeah,
anytime that cone hits Florida. And then once the storm passes, the companies have to go to the Office of Insurance Regulation and let them know that they plan on opening, and then they kind of open gradually. The counties that didn't get hit open first, then the counties that were hit open second. Right now, we have about 10 or 11 different companies we write with. 5 of them are still closed. They won't write anywhere, at least Collier, Lee, or Charlotte.
Okay.
The other companies are open. I don't have anyone right now that will write Lee County.
Yeah.
But from a flood standpoint, FEMA flood insurance is still open. There's just that 30-day waiting period, so they never really close.
Yeah. And, I think the other side of this is luxury because, even though you're buying cash, you probably still want insurance on your home, especially if it's in that $5, $10, $20 million price point. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the high-value homes, the luxury homes, the big names are Cincinnati and Chubb. They don't like Florida. They haven't liked Florida. And Ian gave them a reason to say, we're not writing Florida.
Yeah.
So those big box insurance carriers that cover, nationwide, all the homes in one, combined policy, they're not writing Florida. So it's tough right now to get a high value home written in Florida. We do have 2 carriers that will write high value. Yeah. One will go up to $3 million total insured value. The other one will go up to $5 million. They both will allow higher with underwriting, approval, but we're not getting that approval right now yet.
So there's a lot of information that he's giving you. And at the end of the day, if you're looking to buy a home, really you need to, again, have someone that can help you through this process. And Rich is my guy that I have my own policies through as well. And we recommend to our clients. So again, you'll have his information below. Likewise, if you like this content, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell because we are always producing great content just for you.